I don't like having to deal with a fringe and hair in general, because what the fuck is this? Hi YouTube, it's me Tabea, and this is Not Quite a Degree, where we talk about things that I don't have a degree in but do have opinions on, and today we're talking about internships and the trial and errors of finding one. So the other day I handed in my 2 weeks notice at my job where I currently work, which is for a cosmetics brand that's quite well known, and realized what is going on with my life and what has been going on in the past few months. Like, it has just been so weird and such a weird transitioning time. And I felt like today would be a good day to talk about it, because as I've put down in my journal a couple days ago, I might have actually just beat the slump basically, and come out the other way. And so I felt like maybe sharing would be a good idea. I do 2 degrees, I've talked about that before. I do one in communication and one in business, and both degrees require me to do an internship of about 6 to 8 weeks. I still have to complete that internship as a full-time position for that given amount of time in order to complete the both of my degrees. So I'm like, okay, you know, I kind of fit it all into my plan, and the original plan was to do the internship next year and actually write my second bachelor thesis this semester. That did not happen. And it didn't happen because last summer, after I had handed in my thesis, my first thesis, which was mid of June of this year, I was just so done. I could not have dealt with actually basically a week after having handed in my thesis jumping right back into the next thesis, because that's what would have been the case with all the exams that were coming up. So there I was, basically freaking exhausted with about, I don't know, 4 to 6 exams coming up in the next 5 weeks, and I was just like, this is awesome. And I kind of considered my options, and I don't really know what triggered it in the beginning, but for some reason I came to the conclusion that, yeah, it would be a good idea to not only do my internship from this year starting in October, no, I thought it would be an even better idea to do it in London. Now, I had considered doing this before. I had actually thought about doing an internship in New York before, because go high or go home, I suppose. But then with the Brexit and everything coming up, I suppose I just kind of came to the idea in the end that, yeah, it would be a better idea to maybe do it in Europe while I still can get, or well actually I don't have to get a visa to work over in the UK for a couple months. So basically I decided, yeah, I'll go and apply to a lot of companies in the UK and get myself an internship there. That's what I thought, at least. Spoiler, it didn't. I basically started applying to a whole bunch of companies, basically through websites like Glassdoor, Indeed, LinkedIn, wherever basically you can find ads for new jobs that are being posted regularly. And I just kind of sent my CV, I sent cover letters, whatever it is that they require you to send in. And for the first couple of weeks, I started in July, nothing really happened because A, it's the middle of summer, so not a lot of people are hired. Thank you, son, for being there. And B, I wanted to start in October, which I realized is way too early to apply in July. So I kind of stopped applying for a little while and, you know, took my exams, finished everything up, and then I would want to say in late July, early August, I came back and I really started going at it and sending out applications literally every day. Like, I would be sending out about 2 to 4 applications every single day to a broad range of companies. Everything had to do with marketing, public relations, social media, everything in that kind of area I would be willing to do, because from my point of view at that time, at least, and I mean still kind of, to be honest, I felt like I don't really have a lot of expertise yet. I want to move to a different city, London in that case, and you know, I can learn something wherever I go. It doesn't really matter the exact setting that I work in, whether it's a big or a smaller company, because really, you know, wherever I go, I'll learn something new, and I think that would be great. With all those applications that I have sent in, I would want to say I probably got back from people with every 4th, 5th application, and then most of those were obviously emails saying, oh, thank you so much for your application, but we're going forward without considering you for that position, which is fine because that's just how the process goes. But eventually I did get a little frustrated. However, though, There was one position that I actually got to talk to the people to, and I actually managed to get into a round of working on a case, presenting a case, and basically talking to the manager, which was very, very exciting. And in the end, they actually offered me the position, and then I couldn't take it because they needed me to start in August. And as you know, I had been on vacation in the beginning of September, so it was not possible for me to move that quickly. That was super, super annoying, really, because I would really have liked working for them. They seemed super nice, and I feel like it would have been a very good environment, but it just didn't work out. What I learned from that, though, and I feel like this is one of the things that I kind of can share with anybody who is trying to get an internship abroad, even though I failed at doing it in the end. I learned that your mother language really is a huge asset. You can put so much effort into creating a great CV, creating a great cover letter in the end, but after all, it is the skills that you bring to a position that have to make you special. With the lack of experience that I brought into this, and probably some other people do as well, because we're all coming from uni at this point, having a language that's not natively spoken in the country that you want to work in is super valuable to some companies. I was applying in that case to a German company, or at least to a company that is headquartered in Germany and has an office in London. So that was really interesting to see that something that I didn't even really consider at first became so valuable and basically became the main point for somebody to want to hire me. Once that was basically done, I had gotten closure with it. I was like, okay, this didn't work out. It's not a problem. You know, they liked you. You are actually able to get yourself a position. I was, sad about that, but actually amped up at the same time, because I was like, yeah, almost got a position, so I'm gonna get a position next time around. So I kept applying until I went to the US. Realistically speaking, if I would have wanted to work somewhere from October, then they probably would have had to hire me within the first 10 days of September. I was still very hopeful, and yes, I had a couple other people come back to me, but nothing really ever came out of it. And so basically with every day that passed, I was just getting so frustrated and sad about the whole thing, because I felt like, why is nobody coming back to me? I already had this like really good experience, and I know I can offer some skills to people, and I can offer my personality, and it just nothing came out of it. I just kind of fell into that slump of just like furiously typing applications every day and basically getting angry and angrier every day with just every application I send out. And I mean, it's kind of hilarious, really, because I guess for all of those positions there's at least a couple hundred people applying, and I was just like, why won't you hire me? And, if we're being honest, there probably were a lot of people applying with just like a better skill set than mine. Eventually I kind of closed that chapter in my head and was a little sad about it. Then though, I basically decided, okay, I have come this far, I have sent out all these applications, I've basically kind of adjusted my whole schedule for the coming semester to an internship. Let's at least have a look around if there's anything that might be coming up in my immediate area that might be interesting. And funny enough, I look at the website of one of the universities that I want to apply to for my master's degree, and what do they have? An internship that's probably gonna match with all the criteria that I need to meet for my internship. And when is the starting date? ASAP, obviously. What are the chances? So I applied, and long story short, I got the position. I'll start on Monday, and I'm sure I'll make a video about that as well. But looking back at this whole process, with all the applications that I sent out to London, and with this application that I just recently sent out, I felt like, yeah, no matter how long it takes you, no matter how many weird tangents you have to take and how many roads you have to go down to, there'll always be a new opportunity and a new chance for you to apply to a new position or find a new way of dealing with things. And I felt that was very affirmative in a way that, even though my first position that I had been offered didn't work out, and, my initial plan after all didn't work out, there's for some reason a great opportunity that just came out of nowhere for where I live, in my city, literally 10 minutes from my house, at the school that I want to apply to for my master's. And I was just like, wow, that's how life works, I suppose. What I basically wanted to share here is, what has been happening in the past couple of months, but then also kind of how I kind of dealt with it emotionally, because it has been really, really hard on myself. I had basically the high of being excited about opportunities and everything that would be coming up and kind of being out of my own city for a while, and then that like really, really low point of realizing it's not going to work out, basically. And then another kind of high point of realizing, hey, you know, life goes on. I had been talking to a friend recently about it, who was like, hey, you know, I'm in that slump right now. I feel so terrible because, you know, for her it's not an internship, she's actually done with her bachelor's and she's just trying to get a job. But she basically struggled with the same problem, you know, where, you know, there's just not the right fit happening right now. And after that conversation, she basically texted me saying like, hey, it's so good to feel like I'm not alone in this. And I felt the same way. I was like, it's so great to know that there's somebody else out there struggling with the same deal, basically. And so I felt like sharing with you guys and being like, hey, you're not alone in this. I feel like this is a super rambly video and I'm sorry for that. But, you know, if there's anybody out there who feels like, yay, somebody else feels this way, I'm not alone, and finding an internship, a job, a new home, whatever, is hard. I feel you, and I'm here. I have the same problem, or I had the same problem, and I would be very happy to hear from you. So, yay, we're in this together. Yeah, thank you so much for being here for this week's video. It's probably been a bit different than the last videos, but anyway, I'll see you next week if you like this video. And that's it, basically. Thanks you so much. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.